Hello everyone, welcome to the Chemical Engineer. This video is on pharmaceutical industry specific key maintenance practices. We will be discussing few examples practices which are unique to the pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. Okay, let's move to the first one. Different maintenance procedures for machines based on machine criticality. In pharma manufacturing industry, we classify machines and their machine parts as direct and indirect. This is classified based on their interaction and their capability to contaminate the product as well as their importance to manufacturing operation. So if a machine or part is in direct contact with the product, it is classified as direct. This kind of direct parts and machines are given higher priority during the maintenance operation. And if a particular organization is using a system like computerized maintenance management system, they can easily classify this type of equipment as direct and indirect and monitor them separately as well. Okay, moving to the next one. Need to follow good manufacturing practices, GMP, for maintenance in GMP areas. Let me explain what is GMP first. Let's move to this picture first. This person is wearing an attire, an overall, gloves, face mask, and a head cover. All these are worn to make sure that this person is not carrying any kind of particle or any kind of foreign material to the product. Same way, within this manufacturing premises for pharmaceutical products, they need to have strict cleaning procedures for equipment, and they need to have strict cleaning procedures for facility in order to make sure that the product is safe. Because we always have to remember that this product is directly going into the consumer's body, so it has quite higher impact to the person, as well as if these procedures are not followed, the results can be disastrous because it can affect thousands of lives. Another good example, in pharmaceutical facilities, usually the inside air pressure is quite higher than the outside air pressure. So the inside manufacturing areas are having higher air pressure and the wind is blowing outside. So this is happening all the time, and no foreign material, no foreign airborne material can enter the inside manufacturing area. This is also done considering the product safety aspects. So here I mentioned few such examples where you can find GMP practices. So imagine a maintenance technician coming to do a maintenance activity in such area. Even though it is maintenance, still he has to comply with this GMP. They cannot do maintenance activities as in an outside workshop, but because if you usually imagine a normal engineering workshop, they are quite dirty, messy, and the environment is totally different from a manufacturing area, a GMP area. But here they need to comply, they need to wear the same kind of attire, and their toes should be clean, and after even completing the task they need to clean the area and properly hand over the equipment to the person who is in charge of that area. There are instances they might have to do activities like welding or cutting things like that. So in such cases, it's unavoidable that there can be emissions of different particles, and there can be different materials required to carrying. In such cases, they have the option to take the equipment outside the GMP area, carry out the task, clean the equipment very well, and return. So this is how they conduct maintenance in such cases. Okay, next one, validation. There are machine, equipment, and devices validation. This validation is another control to ensure the product is safe and the process is smooth. During the validation, all the maintenance history of a particular equipment is checked and verified. Apart from that, there are different kinds of validation: IQ, OQ, TQ, PQ, things like that. IQ means installation qualification, DQ means design qualification, PQ means performance qualification, OQ means operational qualification. So this kind of qualifications are done for machines to make sure they are complying with the requirements set as before for product safety and process continuity. And if there are any misalignment or any improvements required to the machine maintenance process, those are identified and embedded to the existing system during validation as well. So if I further explain this validation activity, there they take, let's say for an example, if it's a purified manufacturing plant that you are going to validate, you have to take the criteria which you can use to measure its performance and check the history for a defined period about and observe how the performance has been. If this has been functioning properly, then you can recommend the equipment for further operation. If there are any issues or any observations found, then you have to take actions. And this is the expectation of validation, and it may help to rectify any issues in the maintenance as well. Next one, food grade lubricants for machine areas with direct contact of product. Food grade lubricants are required again because if we put a normal lubricant to a machine and if it gets contacted with the product, again the product might be poisonous to the patient. So prevent such incidents, food grade lubricants is a must. Next one, compressed air quality testing for oil and dirt at product contact locations. Again, compressed air might carry different kind of contaminants like oil and dirt. So it's a usual practice in pharma industry to test such compressed air uh, sources at the points where it is having direct contact with the product. Next one, standard operating procedures for GMP and non-GMP activities. So if you are working in a GMP environment, the requirements are different. You need to be more cautious. You need to be more. Uh, you need to be well trained, and you need to follow all the practices on cleanliness and hygiene. But if you are working in a non-GMP environment or outside, then those strict controls are not there. So the procedures or steps that you have to follow in conducting a task differ. In such cases, the standard operating procedure or instruction for working in GMP and non-GMP activities also differ in pharma industry. This is quite common with food industry too. Next one, strict documentation requirements as per good documentation principles. I think I mentioned this fact before as well. So the documentation is quite important because if you get a product complaint or if you get an audit from regulatory front or if you are questioned on any matter, you should have evidence. Apart from that, in order to monitor that your work is properly conducted, and if, in order to troubleshoot any issues internally, you need to have some evidence and traces. And also, this will help to evaluate own work in maintenance and improve. So the documentation is quite important in that aspect. Next one, continuous monitoring of temperatures. Um, Unlike many products, pharmaceutical products have higher possibilities to degrade in like in extreme environments. Because of that, even the raw materials should be properly stored and monitored until they are taken into manufacturing. So tools like data loggers are used to monitor the temperature where those are stored. Next one, 24 to 7 operation of cool rooms, inlet water quality monitoring systems, which need extensive, reliable maintenance. So cool rooms are where uh, materials are stored. Those materials need to be remained in very cool temperatures, very low temperatures. So in such areas, they need to operate 24/7. In case if these machines which provide air conditioning fail, they may have disposed the whole amount of raw materials. In such cases, machine reliability is quite important unless it will cause huge loss due to disposal of raw materials. Apart from that, inlet water quality monitoring systems. Again, the water which is used to manufacturing purposes should be monitored continuously. If any of these controls fail, it has a huge impact on the product. Moving to the next one, it's elimination of shredding materials from maintenance. Shredding materials, again I described this during the GMP explanation. Shredding materials may contaminate the product, so such materials are eliminated from manufacturing areas of for pharmaceuticals as well. Spare parts storage in air conditioned environment. Even the spare parts which are used for internal pharma manufacturing areas need to be cleaned and maintained very well. Because of that, their storages should be very clean and maintained properly without dust as well. So they also need to be in separate areas and properly maintained. Usually these are air conditions as well. The other one is need of machine reliability to prevent rework of defects in pharma products and avoid chemical exposures. Again, in this pharma manufacturing industry, there are even highly toxic chemicals which are used in manufacturing medicines, but they are used in very small doses for each product. So patient is getting a very little dose so that he can get cured from his disease, but the person who's handling this at the manufacturing facility is getting a higher dose of exposure. To prevent that, there are several kinds of exposure control systems. Let's say dust extractors. Apart from that, local exhaust ventilation systems, um, downflow boards. Such engineering controls, engineering uh, related machinery are used to control the exposure to people who are handling these chemicals. So if one of those fail, The people working in this area are in danger. To prevent such issues, again, maintaining this machinery properly is quite important. Moving to next one, machine handover process after maintenance. So if if a person is working in a machine which is belonging to the manufacturing areas, they need to do the handover quite properly with proper documentation considering the product criticality. And the staff who are involved in these activities need to be highly trained considering these highly demanding requirements on GMP, product quality, employee safety, and regulatory requirements. And they should be cautious and properly trained because a single issue or a single mistake could make huge losses to the business and can have a huge impact on patient lives. Thank you for watching The Chemical Engineer. Subscribe us and keep in touch. Let's meet in the next video.